All right, Coach, you guys open the season this Friday. What has all your training and preparation been like so far?
Well, so far so good. I think we're suitably ready to race. You know, like we've been back on the water since February 1st, and despite it being kind of blustery today, we've had fairly good conditions. And I know that if the athletes feel anything like I do, it's just time to test drive what we've been working on.
And where do you see the team at from a preparedness standpoint? Is it?
You know, I think it's very difficult, you know, because we row in this big, beautiful place that's secluded, and, you know, it's a little bit difficult to know exactly where we are right now. But the things that we can measure, I've been feeling really optimistic about. And, you know, Gonzaga is an excellent, competition. They're excellent competition. So we're just going to look forward to lining up with them on Friday and seeing how it goes.
Given that this is the first true regatta of the spring season as well, do you think that the varsity boat is prepared to race at the level that it should be given at this stage of the season?
I think we're ready to race for March 25th. You know, because I plan, you know, I think we all plan to get a bit faster. We all plan to become more comfortable with higher rates. We all, you know, we don't have a very well-developed race plan at this point because you need race information before you can really develop the plan that works for the team. And with the individuals in the boat being different every year, every varsity 8 needs a little bit something different. And I think that you identify those differences through racing. So, you know, it's just going to be really good to get our, you know, for all the boats, not just the 1V, the 2V, the 4s, the third varsity 8, all the teams will, you know, it's just going to be a lot of information that we're going to have Saturday morning.
I know you and Josh speak very highly of the folks up at Spokane and Gonzaga's program as well. How exciting is it for you when you get to compete so close to Pullman in a rowing-based community like Spokane against a good team?
Yeah, it's great that you've called it a rowing-based community because they actually, you know, like they have, you know, basketball, and so everybody thinks it's a basketball community, but they have a really strong rowing. And I think that you know, they swept. They swept. They won every race against Oregon State. And, you know, people would like to call the WCC a smaller rowing conference. But, you know, they obviously are worthy adversaries for Pac-12 competition. And Gonzaga was in the preseason poll, like I think 17th. And so I think it's a great matchup. And they're not to be taken lightly. And so, we're excited to be able to test ourselves early and to be able to test ourselves knowing that we can sleep in our own bed the night before and we just get on a bus and go a short distance and, you know, row. So it's good.
So looking at your winter training, which athletes really stood out to you?
Quite a few. Like we have, our seniors have done a great job of, steady. They're not allowed. They're not a loud bunch, but they have put the work in, and their quiet leadership has kind of dragged a lot of people on board, and they're doing a really, really good job, and it's nice, you know, like we have only, I think the 1V at this point is all upperclassmen except for Emily Morrow, and I think she's a sophomore, and I think that's right if I'm running down my, in my head, but. So there's a lot of maturity and a lot of leadership that been there, done that kind of thing. And so they have been training very consistently. And, I think that's a good thing, and, the 2V on the other hand is very young and they've been really, really consistent. But they have been a little bit less consistent, but their learning curve is greater too, I think, because they just there's a lot of there's several freshmen, several sophomores in there, and so some days they're really great, and then other days it's like, okay, we gotta learn a little bit from this practice.
I know we're still 4 days away from race day, but have you decided who's going to sit in the varsity 8 boat yet?
Yeah, more or less. I think there's still some question marks. I think we would, if we were getting tiny bit better weather right now, we would probably be putting the finishing touches on the lineups today, but we'll have to wait till tomorrow for that.